Hi, I'm Wanda with Jimmy Branch Homestead, and today I'm going to be hooking up an automatic timer to water my garden, and I'm going to show you how. So first off, my water comes from the pump house over there. If your pump house or your watering is close to your garden, you can just hook up direct to the faucet. Then what I like to hook up is a Y, only so that I can hook up a hose on this side for manual watering, and on this side I can hook up the timer for automatic watering. Now if you don't want to use a hose separate, of course you can just use the hose or the faucet direct to your timer. So again, I have a hose going over here because we don't have it plumbed yet to run it under the ground and bring me a big spigot over here. Hopefully someday, but not right now. So the timer that I am using today is an Orbit timer. And this one, actually, I like the 4 outlet ones because we have a big garden. If you have a small garden and you only need 2 outlet or 1 outlet, then, you know, feel free to use the smaller watering systems. But again, mine has for 4 outlets, and I can time each one of those different times so that they water one section at a time. So this is the back of the watering system, and it runs on 2 AA batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and get those put in, and then I'll be right back. When you are sliding this battery unit back into the watering system, make sure that these metal plates here will hook up with the electrical on the inside. I don't think it's going to show very well. In there it might. I'm trying to get the light down in it. And just put it in, make sure it pops all the way in place. So then the next step is I'm just going to screw this on to the Y, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have it hooked to the water source. The next step is I want to make sure and take this plastic off of here, otherwise you're going to get really confused. It just shows when it's in the package that it shows the time. So now we need to set the time on the unit, and to do so we go up here where it says set clock, and you can tell if it's on the right one by this little arrow here. Okay, now that it's on set clock, I pushed the button once for the hour. I got to the correct hour. Push the button again. It goes to the minutes. Turn the knob to the appropriate time. Push the button again, and now the time is set. So the next thing I'm going to do is set a start time for Unit 1. But these ports, you see there's a place for 4 different hoses to hook up here. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, left to right. And these are plastic, so you want to make sure not to strip them. You need to have it on straight. Okay, so I'm going to have these water in the evening because my other one waters in the morning. So I am going to go up to start time, and it's on zone 1. You can change the zones as you're programming it, but I'm going to program zone 1 first. And so I want the start time not AM. So I have to go around. So I'm going to have it start at, let's do 7 p.m. Okay, good. So zone 1 is all set up. And whether you're using soaker hoses or sprinklers, you would just need a leader hose from the unit to whatever watering system you're using. I make my own watering systems, so if you've been watching my videos, you've seen where I've made up several, and I may show it again a little bit. I will go back and show it in a little bit because I've made it up on this row. So zone 1 is my tomatoes against the fence. Okay, so this hose is an old hose that I cut down to be a leader hose, and it goes into another garden that I built the system for yesterday. So right now I'm hooking up 2 zones, but I know I'm going to be hooking up 4. That's why I bought a 4-port one. But for right now I'm hooking up 2. So now I need to go, oh, I forgot to say how long. So zone 1 was the first one we did, and you also want to put how long. And so I'm going to do this for 15 minutes because they're in buckets and water runs through. Okay, so I have it set for 15 minutes. Push it again. That's all set. Now what I have to do here, start time is 7 p.m. for 15 minutes. How often? I want to change that to every day. It starts off with hours, so you have to keep turning it till it goes to days. Now if you only want to water every other day or every 2 days, this is where you would do it. But I want mine to water every day, so it's a 1. Okay, so now zone 1 is completely set up. So now I want to go back up here to zone 2. Now it's still showing zone 1, so there's a button over here that says zone. I'm just going to push that button, and now it changed to zone 2. And I'm going to put that start time at 7:30. So I push the button so it's blinking down here. Oops. Change it to 7, and then I have to do 30. Now the only problem with me doing it in the evening is that's when we take our showers. So I have to remember my start times, because if the water is running for the shower, it takes the water and my plants will not get watered properly. Okay, so I have zone 1 set up at 7, zone 2 set up at 7:30. Now zone 2, I'm also going to set for 15 minutes because it's in raised beds and buckets, a combination of. Okay. And then how often? Oops. Zone 2. Wait a minute. Oh. How often? There we go. Every day. Because it gets really hot here. So stuff dries out quickly. Okay, that one's set. So I now have zone 1 and 2 hooked up to the water. I need to turn this water on now, both up here and here. And don't freak out, sometimes it does spit a little water out of that port. Now the water will not come out these ports until the designated time. And since I don't have them set up, they're fine. So that's all there is to setting up the water system direct to a hose. If you have a hose to, any kind of watering system or sprinkler, that's fine. Now I'll take the camera off and I'll kind of walk you around and show you how my watering system is set up for these two zones. Okay, so this is zone 1 coming from the water timer. I've got it like a little lead hose on it, and it comes down here, and this is the watering system that I have set up. So you can get the parts. These are the rain, I forget what they're called. Anyway, that you can set up. This is 1/2-inch tubing, or 5/8. This is 1/2-inch. Let me go around this other side. And then I run 1/4-inch tubing. Oops. The leaf's in the way. Sorry. There we go. And here is the sprinkler. And then you'll have to adjust these based on your water pressure and how many things you have on the system. But it just runs on down, and I have little 1/4-inch tubing going off to each one. Now some of these buckets I have 2 tomatoes planted in them, and I did go ahead and put 2 sprinklers in them. See, there's one down here and one over here. So these were all supposed to be Roma tomatoes, and half of them are not. And the reason I can tell, see these round-shaped tomatoes? Romas are not round-shaped. This bucket has both Romas in it, and they are shaped appropriately. So this bucket has one of each. So I have no idea what kind of tomatoes these round ones are because, like I said, the packages I picked up said they were Romas. This one has a Roma and whatever this other round tomato is. So somebody messed up when they were putting the tags in or planting them. This system here is set up very much the same way. You can see all the lines running along. And this particular hose feeds this whole long raised bed and these 5 tubs here. Now this is off my other watering system at the east end of the garden. Now this bed here is where I'm going to eventually plant strawberries, but I want to do some more modifications, add sand and stuff to the dirt because strawberries do like sandy soil. And I didn't get around to moving them this spring, so it's going to wait till fall or next spring. And because I'm tired of weeding the raised beds, I'm finally getting them covered with the weed block. Now these 3 plants here, they are going to be muskmelon or your cantaloupes. And this tomato over here, I have no idea what kind it is. It was a volunteer tomato that came up. So this line, you can see the hose comes in over here. This is the main line. And then I break up here for this bed. Now if I come down here, it tees off and it goes to my herbs in this side of the greenhouse. I do need to add some additional sprinkler heads. I ran out when I was building the system yesterday, so I picked up some more today. This is the end of my chamomile. This is my sage. Again, see, I'm just using the tubing, and I like the tubing, the Mr. Landscaper. It's nice and soft and flexible. It's so much easier to work with than the stiff plastic. And this is my lemon balm. And this is my peppermint going crazy. So then I have it going on even further. And I have it come up here in a T. I'm not going to put anything over here right now because this bucket's empty. And then I can plug in right here, poke a hole and put in another line for this bucket of chives. And then I'll put a couple sprinklers in this one for the dill. And then I'll put 2 or 3 in this one big bucket of chives. So this is how I put these together here. There's a coupler. After you poke the hole in it, you pop the coupler in the hole. Then you attach the flexible 1/4 inch. And then you attach the 1/4 inch to your bubbler. And I particularly like the umbrella bubblers. And you adjust this by screwing up or screwing down. This 1/2 or 2/3 of the greenhouse is buckets, and that's my tomatoes and peppers. These are my Jetstar tomatoes. And I have yellow, orange, and red bell peppers. I have ropes coming down that I climbed up there and tied. And that way, as the tomatoes grow, I continue adding clips or moving them up to hold them up the string. That way they go much higher than, the tomato cages. Only go so far, and then they continue growing up. This one is a grape tomato. You can see it has the little grape shapes. Great on salads. I also like to freeze dry these by just slicing them in half and freeze drying them. I have 1 bucket of 4 plants of banana peppers. And again, these are supposed to be all red peppers, but I'm surprised that that's turning yellow. So I'm a little concerned I might have got yellow peppers, again, mismarked red. Our favorite peppers are red peppers, so we buy lots of them. And if these are all yellow, I am going to be disappointed. Yeah, they're all getting a little yellow on them, so, man, hope they're not all yellow. So this section is currently zone 3 on my other timer. I want to disconnect this line from the other timer and add it to the one I just installed, and it will be zone 3 on the other timer. And the reason I want to do that is because currently I have all my berries and grapes in the garden, in the big garden, set on one zone, and I want to break those off into 2 zones. So, to do that, I'm just going to disconnect the hose from over there, and then I will run it out through this way, closer to this timer. Okay, so I was able to reroute the greenhouse main part. I was able to remove the green extension hose there and just run it directly over to the new timer. So this is now zone 3 on the new timer. And I have this short hose left over as 1 or 2 liters to other zones. Okay, so I have my second timer all set up, replacing the old timer that wasn't working. And I have a hose only on the 3rd port, but no time into it, because this is where I'm going to break it off, the berries, into 2 different lines, but I'm not going to get to that today. So I have zone 1, 2, and 4 all programmed. A couple things about this timer. One, in the wintertime you need to disconnect it and store it somewhere above 32 degrees. And last year I left mine out here, and I'm thinking maybe that's why the ports were not opening and closing properly. It worked if I put it on manual and selected the zone. And so let's say that you had rain, so you turned it off. So, and I just want to water a specific zone. So then I turn it back on this, push the button here, and the zone, and then how long I want it to go. And I'm going to water zone 1 for 30 minutes. And that's my in-ground portion here. Oops, let me turn the water onto the unit. Okay, so I can feel the water coming through zone 1. And it's filling up all the lines. So this is my in-ground watering system. And again, I use the 1/2 inch. And then I use like tape watering. And so there's a hole every 12 inches. But if I water for 30 minutes, it usually waters the whole row pretty good. So in our in-ground, we have almost 3 rows of green beans. And these are the Blue Lake pole beans. And then I have a row and a third of cucumbers. And these are the Market More cucumbers. And we have some already almost to pick. So these are the kind like you would get in the store for slicers. I can always pick them smaller if I want to make cute pickles out of them. Okay, so I went back and got all the lines in the rest of the system that I started yesterday. I had the main line ran, but I didn't have most of the individual lines ran. So I got them all done. So these are the squash, these are the zucchinis. These are green bell peppers out here. These are some red bell peppers, and there's a couple in a bucket over there. And I bought them at a different place, different time, so hopefully they really are red bell peppers. Next to my zucchini here, these are all my yellow crookneck squash, and they're just going like crazy. In the pots here, I have some flowers. These are wildflowers. In the center here, it's wildflowers with, what are those called around them? Nasturtiums. And then over here I have gladiolas with nasturtiums. It looks like they need watered. Here's another pot of wildflowers with nasturtiums. I have a big pot of zinnias here. This is another zucchini, red peppers, and another pot of zinnias. This is the tomatoes I showed you earlier that was along the fence. And then as I'm walking from the other end in the greenhouse, over there is my first chicken coop. It houses Plymouth barred rocks. Over here I have some raised bed blueberries. And down there next to the in-ground is some more blueberries and the grapes. This is a row of blackberries. Inside this dog kennel cage is raspberries. I still need to get them tied up. They're already started. This is 4 elderberry bushes that need to get planted, and it looks like they need watered again too. And then I keep walking towards the in-ground garden. Here is strawberries on my right. I have 2 full beds of those. And these are the ones that I'll take and break apart and add them to the bed at the west side of the end of the garden. Then I'm back to my green beans and my cucumbers. On down the hill here a little bit. This is sugar baby watermelons. And then down there where the little white tag is, the rest of the row is cantaloupe. So this is where the blueberries in the buckets are, and 6 grape plants. Now I planted those and they had green on them. They no longer have green on them. So I have a bad feeling they may have died, but I'm going to keep watering them and see if they'll come back. Sometimes they'll go in shock and the green will die off and then they'll come back. So I'm hoping that's the case. I also use the flat tape watering in the berries. Sorry about the roosters. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial in setting up water systems, whether it just be with a hose and a sprinkler to a timer, or whether it's a more in-depth watering system, such as the tape systems or the other sprinkler systems that I have set up. So thank you so much for watching Jimmy Branch Homestead. Take care and God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe.